All right, out of breath. Welcome everybody to episode 100, episode 201 of the Michael Lab Show. We are here today on this beautiful Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to start off things a little weird today. As you can see, I'm wearing a tank top. Not just any tank top. I'm wearing an American Eagle Phys Ed tank top. Something you probably haven't seen since, I don't know, the early 2000s, the mid 1990s to like late 1990s to like early 2000s, the new millennium. One of the hardest things to do about this podcast is my wardrobe. I have so many episodes I do, but I feel like I don't have enough clothing. I wear the same. If you go back and watch like my last 20 episodes, between the 20 episodes, there's probably 6 different shirts. So we are, for the first time ever on this podcast, this is kind of a crazy thing to do. I would say borderline, schizophrenic, maybe borderline psychotic, wearing a tank top on camera voluntarily. And this was kind of a gag. It's kind of a joke, because it's weird, it's strange. People don't do it. Watch any podcast that you want. Watch anything you want, any podcast, and you will not see somebody wearing a tank top unless they're completely disassociated from the world, or they're me and they're trying to get views, so they put tank tops on. So in the thumbnail, it catches your eye when you're scrolling through everything. So yes, that's what we're doing. We're rocking the American Eagle tank top, Phys Ed. Don't know why it says Phys Ed on it. Like, you remember all those Hollister shirts, those PacSun shirts, those Abercrombie shirts, which is like, Abercrombie is like now huge, like in the TikTok community. Like some of the biggest TikTok stars, like Addison Rae, I think like Bryce Hall, the D'Amelios, which, by the way, they have a name way too close to D'Elia, which is kind of strange if you know about the D'Elia story. No shade thrown at D'Elia, or shade thrown at D'Elia. I don't know. Who cares? It's not my lane to be in. But they've kind of done this thing where they've taken a stance and marketed heavily on TikTok. There's this new company out there. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but when I had Silence, the hardest part about Silence Clothing Company was to figure out how the hell to make clothing. Like, I didn't know where to make clothing. All these damn scam calls. They're everywhere nowadays. It's nuts. They don't stop. And I feel bad for old people. Old people probably get screwed over all the time. They probably give out their social security codes left and right. But I didn't know like how to find clothing. So you Google for so long, and then eventually you find a site called Alibaba. And Alibaba was a B2B, so business to business manufacturing company. Everything, clothing, supplements, caffeine, chairs, whatever you needed. You needed a minimum order. I think you call it MO. MOR. You need an MOR, which is like a minimum order requirement. And then you could buy a certain amount of clothing. They would custom size everything because it was made in China. So there wouldn't be added costs to like customizations. There might be like a flat rate, like 50 cents extra for each piece of clothing. But since it's China and they have, child slavery there for work, I've been going hard in on China lately. I feel like I've been taking some serious shots at China. But what are you going to do? I don't think they even have YouTube there, or Apple, or Spotify. What streaming platforms are there in China? They don't have anything. They have Tencent Video, Tencent is a huge company that a lot of people, including myself, have once invested in, but I don't invest in it anymore. They have IQIYI, Youku, Billy. They have TikTok, and they have Kashuyu. So I don't think they can see this, Maybe I could upload my podcast to Tennyson. I don't know. They probably wouldn't get any views. They'd probably just ban me from it. But they've done this thing, like all these TikTok. Oh no, this like my Alibaba. There's this new company called, I think, SHEIN, which is like a Alibaba, but instead of B2B, it's a B2C. So they actually, like, I can look it up real quick. If you just look up SHEIN, it's called www.shein.com. That's not it. Here we go. No, what is it? It's called, SHEIN. No, what is it called? What would they talk? I gotta look this up now. This doesn't bother me. My girlfriend, she shops on it. SHEIN, SHEIN. That's what it's called. I'm looking up at this like Perny S pop up. What would I say? SHEIN. SHEIN. Let me actually type SHEIN. There she is, right there. Okay. So it's everything's made in China and everything's super cheap there. And like Taylor was telling me that they do like these try on hauls on TikTok where they buy like $200 worth of clothing and they try all of it on. And it's like, and then they make money off of ad revenues and stuff like that. People view their shit and then they sell other stuff, like whatever TikTokers sell, however TikTokers make money. But like if I go here to Tees, and I think is it all men? Do they do SHEIN? SHEIN for here we go. They got men right here, and they use like a bunch of American women, but it's a Chinese-based company, and they use their extremely cheap logistical supply chain there, which is basically like child suffering and no child labor laws, and so everything's super cheap. And what they do, and I was listening to this on ROBINHOOD Snacks, they do this thing where they have they for the day, so like if it's Thursday, they see what's going on Thursday, what is being typed in on SHEIN on their search engine, and then on Friday what they're going to be promoting for clothing is going to be a bunch. So if a bunch of people are typing in like Jaguar bathing suits on Thursday, that Friday, so the next day you log in, there's going to be a huge page designed for you on that specific type of clothing. And apparently they're now the #1 shopping app in the United States for Apple and Android. And they just beat out Amazon. So it's just so fascinating to see like China just come in and they dominate everything. They have this like Uber company called Didi. And Didi it's so much bigger than Uber. It has so many more advantages than Uber. And it's just so massive. And it's like, it's starting, I think it's in Mexico. I think it's called Didi Rideshare. I think it's called Didi. Is Didi, yeah. So Didi, China's Uber. Didi files for its US IPO. Less Grab, more Uber. Yeah. So it's going public in the United States. These Chinese companies are so fascinating because they're founded by people, but you always wonder like how much of it is capitalistic founding of a company versus the implementation of their communist government, like Xi Jinping. Like how much of it is like a citizen had this beautiful idea and he or she worked extremely hard on it, and then they had their struggles, but then they eventually developed this beautiful company and they kick ass. Like how much of it is that versus we're going to take this person who has this education, like I think the owner of this company is from Cornell University, and then you're going to be put into the spot. We're going to give you everything you need. You're going to public the company, but as you're building the company, you're using our resources. You're going to pay us a certain amount. You got to do this and this and this. You got to share us the data you get from everybody so we can stay more in touch with the consumers or with their citizens. And then you're going to public yourself in America, so then you can get more investors involved in the company. Therefore, China now has control of the company and plus the American investors, which give them another leg up on the world economy. Like how much of it is just like people want to get rich or people want to have a successful company versus how like control? Does China want ultimate control? And it's like it's kind of weird to see where we are in this country. Like we're still the world superpower, right? I would say. I put up a Instagram story about a week ago now, asking people, is by 2030, is China going to be the world power? And it was like 30-70. 30% said yes, 70% said no. And the people who said no were like super pro-America, which I'm pro-America too, but it is concerning from an objective standpoint. It seems like China is taking all the right steps, to be the world power. They have like the best, not the best, but they're always hacking things, or they have control of an entire huge country. And I mean, frankly, they have control of all the Asian countries there. What was that incident with John Cena when he spoke out? And he didn't speak out, but he said that, I don't want to get it wrong. I gotta look it up. China, John Cena in China. What was it? After John Cena apologized to the Chinese audience after calling Taiwan a country. I love and respect China and Chinese people. I'm very, very sorry for my mistakes, Cena said in a video message recorded in Chinese. John Cena talks with Willie Gates on NBC. Okay, yeah. But like they have so much control of everything from our movies, like what we watch, the Netflix, they have huge control over. They have because they invest so much money into so many US governments. And the thing is with money, it rules the world, and where money goes is where the power is. And if you have a huge amount of money, you haven't invested in a company like Netflix, or you haven't invested in a company like Facebook or Twitter or Google or any of these companies, you have the ultimate power, because these companies, as we can tell, they have all the power. It's these companies that decide what becomes news or what doesn't become news. It's these companies that direct us to a certain thing or don't direct us to a certain thing. I've been doing this thing with my iPhone, and nobody I know does it. I was listening to a podcast with Whitney Cummings. It was Whitney Cummings and I want to say maybe Mark Norman and Giannis Pappas, which they're both hilarious. Mark Norman, he has a podcast. He has his stand-up special is called Out to Lunch. He's hilarious. Dude is one of the funnier. I think he's like one of the most purebred comics in the game. He's just so quick-witted. His jokes are bang, bang, bang. He's got a very New York vibe to him. Like, I'm not a comedian, but I listen to a lot of comedy, and like LA comedians are very, they're very story type. They're very story driven. They talk a lot about their experience, just on a day-to-day experience. They take moments and they add up punches to it. They punch up on everything. They make the stories very fabulous and very in your face. And then like a lot of New York comedians, they're very much just joke. A perfect example would be Mark Norman and his stand-up special on YouTube called Out to Lunch. But in addition to that, there's which I think it's one of the funnier specials I've seen. There's a lot of good specials. Whitney Cummings had a great special. Rogan had a great special. All three of his. Joey Diaz Bill Burr has funny specials. Joe Coy had a great, that's who I meant when I said Joey Diaz. Joe Coy had a hilarious special. Tom Segura has good. Bert Kreischer, I think, has the best stand-up specials because he's such a present on stage. Like, he is, like, when you're watching it, if you're just a comedian and you're watching someone perform, if you can just hear it, right? And that's why podcasts do so well, because you can just hear what they're saying. You can't really visualize unless you watch on YouTube or Spotify, Rogan. The jokes that you can't. There's no image you can put with it. But with someone like Bert Kreischer, who has a shirt off, he's fat, and being fat for him is like such a huge advantage. And anyways, there's just a lot of good comedians. Mark Norman, and anyways, I diverge again because ADD. She was saying how she does this thing where she puts her phone in grayscale mode, and I'm like, that's dumb. Like, why the hell would you do that? And I went ahead and did it, and it's been in grayscale mode probably 95% of the time for me now. For about 2 weeks, I would say a solid 2 weeks, and it has changed my relationship with my phone. It really has. Your phone, you don't realize, but like, look at the colors around. The colors that you see around you. They're noticeable. They're bright, but they're natural. Like plants are a certain level of bright, certain like things are a natural level. They balance themselves out. With your phone, that doesn't exist. It's all artificial. It's all punched up. It's designed to keep you hooked onto your phone. The apps are bright. Everything is so bright. Your Instagram discovery page is designed to keep you there. So my Instagram discovery page is like, it's a lot of food. It's a lot of philosophy quotes. It's a lot of workout stuff. A lot of finance stuff. That's pretty much what I have on my my discovery page. But the food porn, it really it messes me up because it's so bright and like the foods look so good. Like it's like the burgers and the pizza and the French fries. And I end up on this thing where I just get caught down in this rabbit hole because they show this like multi-rainbow colored donut with ice cream in the middle, topped with like white chocolate flakes. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks so good. I go to the page and the page leads me to scrolling down. And then I get starving. I get really hungry. I'm like, oh my God, that looks so good. And then I look at myself. I'm like, F you, Mike. You're going to binge out. Like you worry about losing weight some other day. And then I binge out. Like that's happened to me too many times. Like that's happened to me. Even if that has only happened to me once, one should be enough. I shouldn't be controlled by the colors on my phone, but you are in a way. And it's not even just the control, like deciding what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. It's the constant repetitive overload of the colors. It like fires the dopamine systems. Like TikTok is designed for that. Colors, constant swiping. So what I did is if you go to your phone and you go to settings and then you go to accessibility and then you go to display and text size, and then you go down to color filters. If you just hit the top button, you flip it. So it's got a bunch of colored pencils up there. You flip that. And then there's red-green filter, there's green-red filter, there's blue-yellow filter, color tint. I go grayscale. I just turn everything off my phone, and my phone's just straight up black and white. And it keeps me off my phone so much longer. And do it for about a week, and then turn it on if you want to. And you'll see just like it's overwhelming. The brightness of the colors. You're like, Jesus Christ. It's funny, last night I was talking to Taylor before he went to bed, and I was like, dude, look at this phone. Like, watch when I turn on the color mode. And I turned it on, and like to me, it was crazy. Like I said, it was overwhelming. But to her, it wasn't like a huge deal because she already, her phone is in color mode because she's a normal person, and I'm, I don't know anybody who does this. But I recommend doing it. It keeps you off your phone. I'll admit I'm on my phone too much. I don't like the amount of time I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone a lot for and it's the thing that's helped me the most, and one of the biggest reasons why I did is because Robinhood. Like I support everything that Robinhood does. I do think there's a slight gamification of Robinhood, but I don't think that's a negative thing per se. I think that's just where we are with technology. I think as technology progresses, everything's going to be boom, 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 boom. And I don't see that as a wrong thing, where I think a lot of people do see that as like a manipulation thing. But if that's a manipulating thing, then all of social media should be banned because it's all manipulative. And then marketing should be banned, and like persuasive writing should be banned. Like I think it's a slippery slope. And I think up to a point, you have to give people, you have to force people to be responsible for what they invest in, what they don't invest in, acting on their emotions. Like I said, I'm in grayscale mode. I made that choice to do that to my iPhone, and it's helped me. Some people won't do that. The option's there. It's not like the option's hiding, but you just may not want to. And if you don't want to, I don't think Robinhood should be blamed because you lost $10,000. Like, you should be blamed for that. Like, you should know that before you getting into investing, it's not gambling, dude. Like, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna make money. Over time, you're gonna make money. And I think there's a lot of blaming going on. And as we continue as a society, we're going to have to really take a hard look in the mirror. How much do we want to blame people versus are we not taking any responsibility? I think a lot of people are not taking responsibility. I really do. I think people do not take responsibility for their actions. People do not take responsibility for their thoughts. And people definitely do not take responsibility for their financial status. I was talking to one of my family members, and she was she's confused. Life is confusing, and And it's at a point now where it's like kind of scared, like, oh man, did I make this wrong decision? I don't really like it here. This is not what I intended it to be. And I think a lot of it has to do with we're brought up in a place and we're fed this idea that you have full control of your life. And you do have full control of your life to a point. But what you don't have control of is the future. You can develop the present moment. You can work on like these stages presently to better prepare yourself for the future, but you have no control of the future. You have no control when your boss says, hey, you're going to be doing this for 3 or 6, 7, 10 months, 12, a year. You have no control of saying, hey, screw you, I want to do that. I feel like this is under my pay grade. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm overqualified for this. You can't. What are you going to do? You're just not going to work? You have to deal with certain things, but the way you deal with them, the choices you make while you're there are so important. Like, let's say, for example, you graduate college and you're expecting to get out of school. You got a PhD, you got a master's degree in business, right? Which is an MBA, which is something that you need if you want to get any type of executive position, which I'm aware of. I'm going to have a bachelor's in business entrepreneurship, which is crazy to me that I'm getting a degree. It is nuts. I have 4 classes. And then I get a degree. This entire podcast, I've gone from being dropped out of school to now graduating with my degree. It's going to be the biggest accomplishment I've ever had. And it sounds so dumb because it's just college, but like for me, it's like it's huge. It's huge. I'm going to hang that mother effer up, and I'm going to let everyone know. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to be so pumped when I graduated because I never expected it. I was okay. Actually, I wasn't okay. I was embarrassed, but I in my head, my future did not involve a degree. Just didn't involve a degree. And did that make me angry? Yeah, it made me angry. Did it embarrass me? Maybe it embarrassed me slightly. But what were you going to do? It was just as expected as like the sun coming up the next day. So the fact that I've managed to get my life to a point where I'm going to end up with a bachelor's degree in business is just, it's mind blowing. I could even like get a second degree in like exercise science because I don't have a shit ton of credits, but I have a decent amount of credits because the first year of college I spent in exercise science. But I digress. But if you graduated with an MBA and you're expecting to get a job at $75,000, and let's say you do get hired for that position, for that company, but the position that you want is you didn't get hired for that certain position, but let's say you still got hired at Morgan Stanley, they're gonna start you out with $50K, but you want that $100K. Well, what are you gonna do to get to the $100K? You can supplement $50,000 a year on extra income. What does that mean? You can do this. Like if you want 100K, for some reason you decide 100K is where it's at. Well, then while you're working at Morgan Stanley, maybe look at some real estate property, do some long-term investing in that state. Maybe look at the market, put a lot of money away, make 50 grand a year, but put away 20 grand a year to invest and try to live off of 30 grand for 5 years. If you can live off of 30 grand for 5 years, and that means you can invest 100K a year, which means you're going to make an extra $10,000 a year, which after 5 years, you made an extra 50 grand, right? So like there's so many ways if you do just DC dollar cost averaging investing on the S&P, 10% a year, whatever. I feel like half of my podcast is just talking about finances and stuff, which is like, I think good. I think it's a good thing to talk about, but I'm not an expert in it. So like when I talk about it, it's my disclaimers. I'm not an expert. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And don't listen to me. It's just what I do. That's another weird thing. The market's been acting really weird lately. This is like my first year where I've been in like the dead of summer and I'm fully invested. Like this time last year, I was just now starting to get into investing, and the market was, it was going up because COVID. We know after March 20th, I think it was, after March 20th, the market took off because the market shut down so hard. But I think this is my first year where it's slow, right? There hasn't been a 1% gain, I think, in the S&P since March or May 17th, I think it was. Or was it May 27th? I think, yeah, May 27th. Which honestly, I heard that stat on MSNBC Squawk Box this morning, and my first reaction was like, yeah, that seems normal. Like a 1% gain on the S&P seems, it's a lot. Like whenever my ETFs are up 1% a day, like that's a big day. And like I've had a 3% gain of like maybe 2 or 3 times in the QQQ, which is a technology heavy ETF. And those are huge days. And those days, they never come. And every once in a while you get like a 2% day, including after hour trading. But like the market's been so steady. And as of on Wednesday, so yesterday, Jerome Powell came out and spoke about what they're going to do with like the rising inflation. Are they going to start increasing interest rates? Are they going to, just kind of wait it out for a while, let more money get into the market and see if it cools things off? You guys are watching this and it's already happened. So, but I'm recording it before it's happened. So I'm just kind of anticipating what's going to happen. But the market's been slow, man. Crypto's been slow. It seems like we're kind of all just waiting right now. We're like waiting for the first mover. Are we going to are we going to go into a huge bear market? Are we going to go into a huge bull market? And it's like fundamentally each thing can happen. Like there's arguments for each side. Like the bearish argument is inflation is going to go through the roof. There's way too much money in the market. It's going to heat up too quick. The Jerome Powell's not going to catch up with it. And the interest rates are going to skyrocket. And the whole economy is going to go to a halt. Growing is going to stop. Even with all the extra money, the value is going to be decreased. And then you have the bull market side, which is pretty much the same argument. Like the economy is overheating. The interest rates are going to stay low. These companies are going to keep investing, reinvesting in their own, into their own business operations, and the economy is going to grow. GDP is going to explode. Even though there's so much money being pumped in the market, the dollar's still going to hold its value because there's going to be so much spending. People are going to be going back to work. Unemployment's going to be going down. Vaccinations are going to be going up, and Corona's going to be pretty much gone. So we're kind of just like on this seesaw in the world of the market, and it's actually pretty nice to see. Like I know for like crypto, like if you look at my 3 months trend, I think I'm up like 8% on my ETFs, and I only own Vanguard, S&P, the QQQ, which I believe is Invesco. I'm pretty sure it's Invesco, and ARKX, which is Cathie Wood's ARK company, space exploration, which is it's my smallest holding, but it's my most long-term investment. Like the space exploration world it's growing rapidly, and I feel like there's not enough coverage on it. Just with SpaceX, for example, like the thing is with Cathie Wood and this specific, you know what you're gonna get from her. You're gonna get a lot of look at this, so many nice things here. I'm still looking at the SHEIN, the tops for dudes. Everything's so cheap. They do like these vintage stuff and like, oh my God, $15. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the thing is with Cathie Wood is she's gonna buy all these companies once they go public, like SpaceX and JetBlue and like Starlink and like what else? There's Boom Supersonic if they go public, which is like a space. They're an aircraft company, but their aircrafts go anywhere in the world in 4 hours. Holy crap! I feel like I gotta poop. I'm gonna hold it. I do not want to get up. I'm on a roll here. But is that charging? Yeah. So my humble opinion, I definitely do see the ability. Whatever. They're trying so hard to keep. I don't understand. Why can't we just say COVID is over? California open. New York City's open. Governor Hogan of Maryland just said July 1st, everything's open. No mask mandate in school. Hear that, Towson? Can't make me wear a mask. Already had to prove to you guys I had my vaccine, which is fine. Like a lot of people get upset about that stuff, like proving that you have to have vaccines. And it's fascinating because COVID does kill, but it doesn't kill at like a crazy percentage rate. And there is, in order to travel a lot of places, you do need vaccines. Like you need measles vaccines. You might, like if you go to Africa, you need a malaria vaccine. Like there's already these, and this is this is from both sides, because as much as I believe in freedom, I also believe in private enterprise, and I also believe that the president is currently sleeping after he just got a stern talking to by government or by Vladimir Putin, like while that Joe Biden currently, as I'm recording this, is sitting in a room with a former KGB member, Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin is speaking to a Alzheimer's patient. It's mind blowing. It's crazy to think, like Vladimir Putin, who just tried to kill that journalist like a year ago, with like that, and then you have Joe Biden, who's up there like, just trying to get through a sentence. I don't know. That's 2021 for you, brother. That's what we're living through. We got Alzheimer's patients talking to former KGB members. Shout out to America. I love it. But like these vaccines, like cards, like this has always been a thing. Like if you want to travel anywhere, you got to have certain vaccines. But the COVID vaccine it's so politicized now that people freak out about everything. People have been forced to shut down. If that didn't happen, there probably wouldn't be pushback for vaccines to be forced to travel anywhere. But people don't like to be told what to do, especially in America. We have a real tough time, which I respect. We have a real tough time being told what to do because we're a unique company. We're a unique country in the sense that we escaped a dictatorship. Like we escaped an overarching government in England. King George, we escaped that dude, and we said, nah, we're rolling out. So much, one of Theo Von's jokes. But we escaped, and we hated them so much that we just jumped on a boat and friggin' went to a different land. We don't even know where we were going, but it was better than England. And then we stayed here. And that's what you have. You have a bunch of Americans who don't believe in a true, a government being too powerful. Even like on the far left side, they don't want a government that's too powerful. They want the government to do enough for people to give them a nice, comfortable base, but they don't want a government that's too powerful. Well, some do, some not just left, but like some people believe in socialism, and it's fascinating because as much as I don't believe in a socialist government, because I don't think you can ever give people just enough power. I think power will corrupt itself. Power corrupts power. And that's me speaking because of the history I've read from, Russia, from Germany, from Italy, from Spain, from Cambodia, to Korea, to Vietnam, to China, to Japan, to the Middle East. I mean, anywhere where there is, where government started taking care of the people and then tearing the people down and then ultimately telling the people that they need the government to survive. I think that's a dangerous path. I don't believe that it works. I think government should take care of people to the point where they can be fully capable of making decisions for themselves without anything holding them back. We're socialists in the sense that we have a socialist emergency system, emergency response system. We have police that we pay for. You and I pay for them. We have fire departments that you and I pay for. We have hospitals that you and I pay for. We have roads that are okay that you and I pay for. We have welfare that you and I pay for that most of us don't use, but a lot of us do use. We have Social Security. Like we have these things that are, taking from socialist values, but we put a stop to it. It is only so much, there's certain credentials that you need to be a part of these programs. So I do sympathize. I do think I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's a realistic idea. I don't think it's a realistic idea. But it is crazy to think that Joe Biden is currently sitting down with Putin, and who the hell knows where that's going to go. But like COVID's done in this country. Why can't we just let it be done? Why I feel like we're constantly just like trying to scare people into believe like it's gonna attack us and get us again, and like it will. But like the deaths are the worry. Like the deaths are the thing that's worrisome, and people just aren't dying nearly as much. Kim Jong-un warns of tense food situation, longer COVID-19 lockdown. Um, there was a huge segment on Bloomberg, which was weird that it was on Bloomberg, about Kim Jong-un's wrist and his watch, his wrist being on his watch, and how his watch has gotten looser on his wrist. There's speculation that he is sick and he's not doing too well, which is, an issue. Like whenever you're in a communist country, your dude, the top dog, being sick is not good. Like, it's not good, because then the people are going to be going after him. People are going to be going after him. Now they're running out of food. They've denied COVID the whole time. Like, if I Google North Korean COVID numbers, North Korea COVID, COVID, I can't spell. I don't think they come up at all. I've really got to poop now. Holy crap. Shit. Very high. Yeah. So for CDC, they say it's very high, but they don't report numbers on it. That's just not what they do. Which, it's you got to play face when you're a communist country. It's also weird to me how, and I hate when they say cases of dangerous COVID-19 variant are rapidly increasing in U.S. Like, that's fine, dude. Let the cases rapidly increase. If we're vaccinated, it won't kill us. And if we're vaccinated, it's going to be very minimal. Like, it's going to be very minimal. I just had the cold for 3 weeks, and I'm finally finishing it up. And it sucked, but I could go on about my day. Like, I think we've disassociated being sick with being, incongested. Or what's that word? Is that the word? I'm so dumb. I don't know anything. I don't even. Why do people listen to anything I say? Actually, I don't think they do. I think there's a big difference. Like, there's a point where we just got to get on with our lives, and we can't just constantly be scared of COVID-19. We've been vaccinated. Enough people have been vaccinated. 72% of Maryland, 69% of America. Like, we're done. We're done. COVID is over. As Pat McAfee said, as a great Pat McAfee said, we beat COVID. We beat it. Why can't we just beat it? Let's just say we beat it. I ran outside for the first time in about 2 weeks on Tuesday, and I ran 6.2 miles, and it felt great. 6.5 miles, I think. It felt great. The only thing that sucked was getting pelted by cicadas. Every once in a while, they're just flying to my leg. I think I did an 8 minute and 45 second mile per mile. My first two were like 8:30 something. Got a nice tan. I'm finally starting to rip up a little bit. I've been just kind of eating whatever I wanted to. Like, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I've been going in and out of like low carb. But for about 10 days, 11 days, I've been strictly low carb. Like, I'm talking I've had no carbs. And I got down to like 195 after my run yesterday. Obviously, I ate and drank, and I got back up to like 200. But I'm at like 198, 199 instead of like 204, 205. I'm starting to see my six-pack come back again. This is in preparation for the lake. I say it every year, but I need it. I think this winter I did a better job than ever. I think I might have got up to like 210, maybe once or twice. But for the majority of the time, I actually was able to like control my diet, or control my weight, which is huge. I didn't get up to 220. I didn't get up to 230. I ran during the whole winter. Obviously, I went from running 7 days a week for about 5 months to running 3 to 5 days a week. There was a few weeks there where I wouldn't run at all. But for the majority of the time, I ran. And I ran a lot, and I ran good. And but I'm back running again outside, and it feels great. It really does. It feels amazing to run again. Getting a nice little tan, nice little base tan before I go to the lake, where, it's going to be exciting. I'm trying to see if I can get a day covered at work, so I can get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's a 6-day vacation. I haven't had a 6-day vacation in 3 years. 4 years. It's been so long. But if I can't, I can get Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can get a 4-day vacation, which is, still huge. But it's at the lake, and the lake's my favorite place to vacation because usually my phone doesn't work, and I just sit there. I hang out with people. The people I'm going with this year, I know some of them, but I don't know 80% of them. And I don't care. Like, we're all there to just look at the water and like swim and get a tan, eat good food, read a book. I got to do a little bit of homework when I'm there, which is like kind of a buzzkill, but what's not a buzzkill is when I get my degree and I finally can just be proud of myself for something. I'm very, very rarely proud of myself for anything. I might say it, but I hate the work I do. Everything I do, I hate. I suck at it. I don't like anything I do. Like this podcast, I love it, but I hate it. Like I'm constantly upset with the way I talk or the way I do this, and my hand motion there. But you know, I think that's what makes you I think that's where people grow, is where they constantly critique themselves and they criticize themselves. And you know, this podcast more than anything has allowed me to kind of expand on my thoughts and my opinions, which I think I've grown. I don't know. I've never thought about this. I don't know if it's coincidence that these past almost 2 years I've grown the most in my life. I don't know if it's just because I'm doing the podcast or the podcast has nothing to do with it, or if it's just a circumstance that it's kind of they're going at the same time. But I think that it allows me to talk and just think about what I'm saying and why am I saying it. And you know, there's something about when you come up with podcast topics, you know, I have a few ideas, but not really. Like I kind of I sit up here and I just spit fire for a while, just random ideas every once in a while. And I think that's what kind of makes the podcast so special. It's just that I don't know if I've grown because of it or it's helped me. It's definitely helped me grow. I've had great guests on, you know, girlfriend, Taylor, my sister, my dad, my mom, Charles. I've had him on a few times, but you know, it's been real. And we done 201 episodes, and next episode is gonna be episode 202. First episode in a tank top. Have $10,000 saved was my goal at the end of 2020, and at the beginning of 2020, and we've blown past that. I have 2,000 plays on a podcast. That was at the beginning of 2020. Crushed that. Have windbreakers, all that stuff. That's useless. Because don't have silence anymore. July of 2019, enroll for Towson before August 1st classes. And we're about to graduate. We did it, guys. 2 years later. Finally graduating. Thank you so much for listening to episode 201. Like, comment, subscribe, donate to the podcast if you want to. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. I gotta go shit. I'm about to shit myself. Peace out. See ya. Thank you so much for listening.